Living in Richmond, BC, the Cowichan land title ruling and what it means for homeowners like you. Now, what happens when a BC court says Aboriginal title is stronger than the land title on your property? I'm here in Richmond, BC, where a landmark decision involving the Cowichan Nation has a lot of homeowners asking, is my title safe? Can I get a mortgage? What the hell does this mean for the future of the real estate market? Now let's break down what's actually happening without all the panic. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Chris Dinnell. I'm a local realtor here in Richmond with RE/MAX, and this is Living in Richmond, BC, where we talk about everything from the best restaurants to the tough stuff that impacts people who live, own, and invest here. Today we're talking about the Cowichan tribe's land title decision in southeast Richmond, what the BC Supreme Court ruled, and the City of Richmond and the province are doing, and what this means for homeowners, buyers, and the future of the real estate market. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer or a financial advisor, so this video is for information only, so you can ask better questions of your own lawyer, lender, and advisors. So what's actually happened? Well, on August 7th, 2025, after what's being called one of the longest trials in Canadian history, the BC Supreme Court released its decision in Cowichan Tribes versus Canada, also known as the Cowichan Land Title Decision. The court found that the Cowichan Nation Alliance has Aboriginal title to about 732 to 800 acres of land in southeast Richmond on Lulu Island, along the south arm of the Fraser River, opposite Tilbury Island. Now, the courts also confirmed Cowichan's Aboriginal right to fish for food in that part of the Fraser River. Now, what did the court say about existing land titles? And here's the part that has everyone's attention here in Richmond. The court said two things. Number one, Aboriginal title is a prior and superior interest in the land. Number two, the fee simples held by Canada and the City of Richmond and the Port Authority to certain lots inside the Cowichan land titles are defective and invalid. But that declaration is suspended for 18 months to give time for the governments and Cowichan to negotiate a solution. Importantly, legal summaries point out that the decision does not automatically wipe out private homeowners' titles. The Cowichan claim in this case was focused on Crown, City, and Port lands, not on forcing private individuals to give up their homes. That said, the decision does raise big questions about how Aboriginal title and private ownership interact in the long term, and that's where the uncertainty comes from. The City of Richmond has taken a very, very strong position. On September 4th, 2025, the city filed a notice of appeal arguing that the court's decision undermines the Land Title Act and the certainty of fee simple ownership, not just here, but across BC. Mayor Malcolm Brodie has said the ruling compromises the entire land title system and that it cannot remain unchallenged, which, for the first time in a while, I actually agree with Mr. Brodie. The province of BC has also confirmed it will appeal, and other defendants, including the federal government, the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority, the neighboring First Nations like Musqueam and Tl'uqtinus, are involved as well. So this is far from over. We're at the beginning of a long appeal process that could go all the way to the higher courts. So what is the city doing locally? If you live in the affected area, you may have already had a letter hand-delivered to your door. In October 2025, the city sent out a letter titled Notice to Registered Owners to about 150 property owners, warning that the BC Supreme Court decision may impact the title to their property and inviting them to an information session. That information session was held on October 28th, 2025 at the Sheraton Vancouver Airport Hotel. It was standing room only, with hundreds of residents, realtors, and property owners showing up. Media reports described the meeting as tense, a lot of anger, fear, and confusion in the room about what might happen to people's homes and businesses. Now, on the city's website, they've posted a briefing letter, a presentation on the case, a draft map of the affected area, and a FAQ page along with a dedicated email address for questions. So if you're in that zone, definitely read the city's material, but remember, that's only one perspective in such a much bigger conversation. Now, what are the Cowichan and other First Nations saying? From the Cowichan Nation's perspective, this case is about correcting a historic injustice. They say their village lands in Richmond were taken without consent, and they've been trying to get them back through negotiations and now through the courts. Legal commentary representing Indigenous perspectives points out a few key things. Number one, Aboriginal title and fee simple can coexist on the same piece of land. BC actually already has these frameworks where Indigenous title and private property overlap, like the Haida Title Lands Agreement. Number two, fee simple grants don't extinguish Aboriginal title. Courts have consistently said provincial land titles can't just erase constitutional protected Aboriginal rights. Number three, the Cowichan case did not seek to displace private homeowners, and the decision itself explicitly notes that private titles were not the target of this claim. At the same time, neighboring First Nations like Musqueam have said they're deeply upset because they see much of this land and water as part of their own core territory, so there are overlapping Indigenous claims in play here too. So you've got Cowichan celebrating a recognition of their land title, other nations worried about how their own rights were treated, and last but not least, municipal and provincial leaders alarmed about what this means for the land title system. No wonder people here in Richmond feel caught in the middle. We all do. Especially as a real estate agent, this has been a topic that I heavily get asked each and every day. So let's tackle the question a lot of us have been asking. Can I still buy or sell property in the affected area? Can I get a mortgage or refinance? The province of BC has publicly said there is currently no change to property sale procedures and that people should still be able to buy, sell, and access mortgages. They've stated they are committed to upholding and protecting fee simple private property. At the same time, local agents and residents have reported cases where lenders are nervous, especially around refinancing, and are still figuring out their internal policies. Some news coverages talk about deals being questioned or delayed while banks decide how to handle the risk. Legal analysis is aimed at lenders say that anytime there's uncertainty about who truly owns the land, banks may build in extra due diligence to adjust, or they look at collateral in areas with unresolved Aboriginal title. So right now we're in this weird place where on paper the province says you can still buy, sell, and get a mortgage. In practice, some lenders are cautious until the appeals and negotiations create more clarity. If you own or are buying in this affected area, this is an absolute situation where you are going to want to talk to a lawyer, reviewing your title, and want to be talking with your lender or mortgage broker early before you make any big decisions. Now, zooming out a bit, what could all this mean for Richmond's real estate market, for BC more broadly? Well, commentators describe the Cowichan decision as a landmark and even a potential earthquake for the foundation of property ownership here in BC, because it's the first time a court has recognized Aboriginal title over urban land that includes privately held properties. So what should homeowners and buyers do right now? So if you're watching this and thinking, okay, Chris, what do I do? Here are a few practical tips for you. Number one, know if you're in the affected area. Go to the City of Richmond's website and look at the Cowichan decision map and briefing documents. Number two, talk to a real estate lawyer. Ask them to review your title, explain the court decision in your specific context, and advise you if you're buying, selling, refinancing, or planning a major project. Number 3, speak with your lender or mortgage broker early. Don't wait until completion day to find out your bank has questions. Ask directly, how are you handling properties in the Cowichan title area right now? Number 4, follow updates on the appeals. The city, province, Indigenous nations, and the courts will all be part of what this looks like 2 to 5 years from now. The situation can change, new decisions can come out. Number 5, stay grounded. It's absolutely okay to feel anxious. This is new for everyone. Trust me, even me. But it's also important not to get swept up in the misinformation on social media posts that claim everyone's going to lose their homes, which I've been getting a lot of phone calls on. Don't worry, you still get to keep your home. But legal experts emphasize that the ruling does not cancel individual home ownership, and the governments have made it clear they're not looking to kick people out of their homes. Whatever happens next, having good information and good advice will put you in the best position. I know this is a heavy topic, but it's important we're talking about reconciliation, Indigenous rights, and the core of how land ownership works here in Richmond and across BC. My goal here with living in Richmond, BC is to keep you informed, whether you're a homeowner, a tenant, an investor, or you just care about the city. If you have questions about how this might impact your property, or you want help connecting with a lawyer or mortgage broker who's following this closely, feel free to reach out to me. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment on what you want more clarity on. I may do a follow-up Q&A with a local lawyer or Indigenous rights experts. Thanks again for watching Living in Richmond, BC. I'm Chris Dinnell, Richmond's Community Realtor, and we'll see you next one.